Hello, it's Chris from Little Tech Girls Digital Homestead, and I'm going to talk about something that I always get a lot of questions about, my GreenStalk pepper towers. This year, just like last year, I have two pepper towers, and I actually have some peppers on another GreenStalk down there. I have one in a GreenStalk on the patio, and I have peppers some of everywhere. All in all, if I count them all up, I'll put a number on the screen. I have at least 100 pepper plants. I am addicted to growing peppers, which I teased about when I did my Netflix documentary short, which you may have seen on Instagram or YouTube. If not, you can check that out. You know, that viral trend that's been going around. But I really do grow that many peppers every year because I am just addicted to growing peppers. They are so fun, and they are so fun and easy to grow in a GreenStalk. So I'm going to give you all my tips on how I do this successfully every year. All right, so tip number one, you do not have to pick a specific variety of small peppers to grow in the GreenStalk. You can pick whatever pepper you want. Peppers are one of the plants that will adapt to the space they are given. They do a really great job of it, okay? So if you want, you can fill this with all jalapenos. It'll work fine. You can mix it up, which I've done here. This is actually my super hot pepper tower. I've got jalapenos, I've got Thai peppers, I've got Jamaican red peppers, I've got some others which we'll take a close look at, and it works. Peppers adapt to the space they are given. People grow peppers in 16-ounce Coke cans and still come up with beautiful plants with lots of peppers on them. You can't do that with every vegetable, but peppers, it works, okay? Tip number two, when you get ready to build your GreenStalk or amend your GreenStalk, use good soil or make good soil and amend it well. GreenStalk has a list on their site of soils that they recommend, Fox Farm, Pro Mix, and some other things. If you can find those, by all means, get it, especially if you can get it at a good deal. Up until about a year ago, because I didn't check, I've been able to get Pro Mix for like $3 or $5 a bag on clearance in the fall, and that was a great deal. This year, that was not the case because I didn't go store hopping in the fall and I didn't buy a bunch of soil. So this year I actually made my own potting mix using garden soil. And I'll link here to a video where I showed how I do that. I actually did it when I built my rusted red GreenStalk. That's right over there. Basically, I got garden soil, Miracle Grow, and Stay Green. If you don't like that brand because of the name, okay, get something different, but it works for me. Okay, but no matter what brand you get, even if you get the good stuff, amend it. Amending your soil gives it more nutrients. It means your plants are going to be fed longer until you can get around to fertilizing them. And that's an important step too. So what I use when I build my soil, if I'm mixing my own soil, I have the garden soil, I have some peat moss, perlite, and the amendments. And like I said, I'll put the video here for all of that. Even if I'm buying Fox Farm or Pro Mix, I'm going to always amend with worm castings, bone meal, blood meal, and organic granular fertilizer, okay? Put a handful of each of those in each tier and just mix it up before you plant. And that's going to carry the plants through for the first few weeks. But you also need to feed your plants. This is especially important in containers like the GreenStalk. Containers lose nutrients faster. So every time you water, little nutrients run out of the soil. Containers also dry out faster, so this exacerbates that issue. So by feeding every 2 weeks, you fix that. And you want to use a good water-soluble fertilizer, whatever your favorite brand is. If you want to use organic, that's fine. Just one caveat to that, don't use only fish fertilizer. Why? Because it doesn't have much in it in terms of NPK. I like to use it along with other fertilizer. If I'm using Jax or Miracle Grow Organics or whatever, I'll put a couple dollops. I don't even measure. I'll put a couple dollops of fish fertilizer in there and mix it around, okay? But you want to mix that up. I actually prefer to use one of those hose-in sprayers. You're going to hold it through the top until some starts to run out the bottom, and then you're going to hold it in each pocket too. This makes sure it gets to the roots of every plant. So if your plants are still kind of small, and those roots haven't reached all the way into the middle of the green stalk yet. You're still watering and fertilizing each one, okay? Once your plants are huge and established, they're gonna be in the middle and they're gonna get most of that from the middle, but I still like to do each pocket when fertilizing. And you wanna water often, okay? Yes, pepper plants don't mind drying out a little bit, but when you don't, let's see this baby here. It's a little wilty because I just watered when I came out here. It's been pretty hot here, and so I just watered, and it'll perk up very soon. So water every day when it's hot out. We've had extreme temperatures here, let me tell you. We had one whole week where it was heat index over 100 every day. Then we had monsoon rains. Then we had more extreme temps. There are a lot of plants in my garden, especially tomatoes and cucumbers, that took a beating and don't look so hot. Peppers, they love the heat. They don't mind. They weren't bothered by all of that rain. They are so great to grow because they can take a lot. They are very, very tolerant of the heat, and they are very forgiving. But you have to water them. So when it's really hot, like I said, water deeply once per day. If you're using the GreenStalk irrigation system, that's great too. Run it to water at least once per day. If I'm being honest, when it was really, really, really hot here for an extended period last year, I had my garden irrigation set to water twice per day for a few minutes each time, okay? So now we've got our soil done, we've got our varieties chosen. Oh, and pick your seeds early, like in February. Start them inside in like March. Some people like to start their peppers in February. I start mine in about mid-March, and I actually use my Aero Gardens to start them, which gets them off to a nice fast start. Or I use my Park Seed Biodomes or something similar like that. You can use the GreenStalk Seed Starter, which is also a great option as long as you have good grow lights inside to start your peppers. This way, you can grow all kinds of varieties that you're not going to find at Home Depot and Lowe's and your local nursery. You can pick some really fun things, and we'll talk about some that I'm growing here. So start them early, get them off to a good start, harden them off, and plant them out when it's appropriate for your zone. Here, for me, that's like mid-May. So I planted out this year like May 18th or something like that. And I think these were one of the first things I planted was my peppers at that time. And as you can see, they are doing fantastic. The other thing you want to do is you want to support your peppers. I have several of the GreenStalk supports here. There's one in every pocket, so that means there's 30 in this one and 30 in this one. And the reason you want to do that is because when these peppers are loaded, like this one is here, look at these beauties. They get heavy. So with a plant that's not supported, these branches will start to fall down and may break. So you want to make sure that that does not happen. And it kind of keeps them up out of the way. So if you're walking around your tower or whatever, you're not bumping into your plants. And this is what that looks like. Okay, this is the GreenStalk trellis. That's what this one's called. They also have the round support, which I do have. I'm not using it anywhere this year, so I can't show it to you, but I'll put a picture on the screen. But those are great for like bush cucumbers. If you're growing any sort of vining thing like beans, not bush beans. Bush beans don't really need that type of support, but those are great for those things. But these, I use these with peppers, microdwarf tomatoes, eggplant. You can use them with bush cucumbers, all kinds of things like that. You want to make sure you support your plants so they do not get broken accidentally in a storm, they don't get bumped into, and they don't fall over and break from weight. What else? Just a general GreenStalk tip. Use the spinner base if you want. Like here, I have both of these on the ultimate spinner base without wheels, so I can turn them around. You can't do this if you're using the GreenStalk watering system. These two are using something else, which I'll talk about later. But I like to be able to stand here and turn them for harvesting and looking at everything to see how pretty they are, so I don't have to keep going all the way around. And that's great for me. And that's it. Plant them, fertilize them, water them well, and watch them grow. Now, let's take a closer look at some of these varieties and maybe pick some peppers. So this tower here is actually my paprika pepper tower. What I've done here is planted a whole tower of 30 plants specifically for the purposes of making paprika powder and smoked paprika powder. So most of these I started myself from seed. I was trying to start them all myself from seed, but some of the seedlings didn't make it, or the seeds didn't germinate. So I filled in the 8 spots that didn't make it with sweet pepper plants from a local nursery. Traditionally, paprika powder is just made with sweet red peppers, but nowadays you can get specific paprika varieties. And so that's what I did. I have 3 different varieties here. Let me tell you what they are. Loose shower. I'm not going to try to say that right. Paprika. I think I just got that one from here. And then we have New Mex or Negi paprika. I think that one's here. And then the biggest one is elephant ear paprika. Where's that one? Where did I get this from? Must be right here. And so the ones that I used for fillers are gypsy pepper. This is yellow now, but it will turn red. And we have Melrose and Marcato. So those are just peppers that will turn red, and I can use all of these to make paprika powder. We're going to smoke some on our pellet smoker, then grind it up, and that's going to be delicious. So let me show you how big some of these are. Look at these. Isn't that beautiful? These are the elephant ear paprika. I'm not quite ready to deal with my peppers yet, so I haven't picked any. I've only picked a few that I needed for dinner. Oh my God, this one down here is huge. Let me show you this one. Those up there were a good size, but look at that guy. Holy moly. That's why I chose these, because this variety is a nice big variety. I love it. So I'm excited about those. All right, so over here we have my hot pepper tower. So this one has at least 15 or 20 different varieties of hot peppers, everything ranging from jalapenos to Thai peppers to Jamaican red, and I think I've got some cayenne in here, and they are also all looking fantastic. There's some really interesting looking peppers in here. So let's take a close look at some of those. Look at this one up here. This is tiger jalapeno. Look at those gorgeous leaves and those dark purple peppers that are almost black. Beautiful variegated leaves. I love growing peppers like that because they're so pretty. Here we've got something orange. That's Bulgarian carrot. I see one that's got a little rot on it, which is okay. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Sometimes peppers and tomatoes, the first batch might get some blossom end rot, I found, at least here. And then they kind of even themselves out. So I wouldn't worry if you see that on the first couple, because usually the rest will be fine. This is true Thai Damien. Look how pretty these are. Some of them are turning red, some of them are ready, but the plant is loaded. Look at this plant. The plant is not that big, but it is full of peppers. And we keep going around here. These are jalapenos up here. Lots of them. Then we've got some scary looking hot things. Let's follow that down, see what that is. That is the Jamaican red, which are not red yet, but they will be. And then let's see, here's some orange. I think this is the other Thai pepper. Yeah, that's the other Thai type that I'm growing. Then you've got these little funny things here. Look at these little cuties. They are Ariba something. So yeah, you can grow all kinds of different peppers in your GreenStalk. Different varieties that mature around the same time, or some that mature later than others. Peppers will keep on maturing all season, and you will have peppers all the time. Here's the other tower. Here's one of the gypsy. Not red yet, but it will be. We've got some beautiful peppers on some of these plants. Absolutely beautiful. And that's for my, let's go to my last tip. So for my last tip, harvest your peppers. I've been stalling because I'm not ready to deal with them for preserving and all of that yet. Peppers will keep producing all season until the frost kills them. But the more often you harvest, the plant can refocus some energy into making new flowers and new peppers. You're going to notice they're making new flowers anyway, but you can speed that along by harvesting your peppers. Also, if you leave some of them on the vine too long, not all varieties, but some varieties will kind of start to shrivel. And you want to get them while they're nice and fresh, especially if you're going to can them or preserve them in any way. And you want to cook with them. So use them, okay? What is this one here? This is beautiful. Oh, that's the Tibetan one. Okay, so I think that's all the rambling I have about growing peppers and green stalks. If you have any questions though on anything that I do or tips that I have, just post below. Oh, also, because I know somebody is going to ask, I will put a list of all of the varieties that I am growing um, down below. I tend to grow some of the same stuff, and then I'll pick like a few varieties that I've never tried before just for fun. And I love growing hot peppers. My tolerance for the super hots is not high, but they're fun to grow some for making things like hot sauce and pepper powder. When it comes to eating, the hottest I like will chop into a dish is probably like a habanero, but usually jalapenos and serranos and Thai peppers or something like that. I'm not putting a Carolina Reaper on my taco or anything like that, but I do love to grow them. Okay, so thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I'm going to give you one more beautiful shot of these pepper towers. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Ta-ta for now.
I almost forgot to mention that it's GreenStalk's 12-year anniversary. To celebrate, they have brought back the 4-tier original and 5-tier leaf. You get your choice of either basic or basket weave for only $89. And if you use my code LTG10, you get an extra $10 off, bringing them down to only $79. And the mover base is only $29, and you get a free tote bag with orders of $99 or more. Happy shopping.